Jack, honey, why on earth are you still wearing that old, faded work shirt right now? Vanessa asked, her voice tight with a mix of worry and frustration. She stood in the shiny showroom, her eyes wide. The floor beneath her feet was so polished it looked like water, reflecting the bright overhead lights that cost more than their first house. I can't believe it, Jack. I thought we had a plan for this evening. Jack looked down at the familiar blue shirt. It was soft from being washed hundreds of times, and the edges of the collar were starting to fray just a little bit. It just feels right to me, Vanessa, he replied, smoothing out the fabric over his chest. I truly feel like myself in this shirt. It's the same one I've worn since the day we opened our first small shop. But I laid out that nice blue suit for you, Jack, Vanessa said, pointing toward the back room. I spent hours picking it out. It's made of the finest wool, and it fits you perfectly. It's sitting right there on the bed, waiting for you. I saw it on the bed. I really did, Jack said, his voice low and steady. It's a beautiful suit, Vanessa. I know you put a lot of work into finding it. Then why are you dressed like you just crawled out from under a heavy truck to change someone's dirty oil? Vanessa's voice was rising now, echoing off the glass walls of the showroom. You look like you've been working in the trenches all day long, covered in dust and grime. Because I am comfortable in this, Vanessa, Jack answered, crossing his arms over his chest. This shirt has my name on it, and it has our history stitched into the fabric. This is who I am. This is the man who built this business. Comfortable is not the point tonight, Jack. Please try to understand that, Vanessa said, taking a step toward him. We aren't just having a quiet dinner at the kitchen table tonight. We have guests coming. Then what is the point? Jack asked, looking her in the eyes. The point is that we're going for big investors, luxury clients, and very important folks who get to decide if this little place of ours stays a small, local shop or becomes something much bigger and better. We need them to trust us with their money and their cars. We need them to believe we are on their level. Vanessa, this place is already something special, Jack said, waving his hand at the cars lined up in the room. We did this together. We don't need anyone to tell us we're good enough. It's a showroom now, Jack, she insisted. It's not just a dusty old garage with grease on the floor and tools scattered everywhere anymore. It's a place of business, a place for high-end luxury, not a place for old rags and oil stains. But the garage is what got us here in the first place, Jack reminded her softly. Every single car we fixed, every late night we spent working by flashlight. That's the foundation of everything we have now. I know that, Jack. I really do. I haven't forgotten the early days, she said, though she wouldn't look at him. But when you talk like that, Jack said, it doesn't sound like you believe it. It sounds like you're trying to hide our roots. I am just trying to protect everything we worked so hard to build together, Vanessa said, her voice shaking slightly. I don't want to lose all of this because we didn't look the part. Protect it from what exactly? Who are you afraid of? From looking small. Vanessa finally burst out. I am just so tired of people seeing a messy garage and a man in a work shirt before they see our potential. I want them to see our success for once. I want to be proud of what we've become. So, this whole thing is about being seen, about the image we present. For once in my life, Jack, I want people to see more than just a garage. I want them to see more than just us as we used to be when we were struggling to pay the rent. I want them to see more than where we started our journey. I want them to see winners. That sounds like you want to wipe the slate clean, Vanessa, Jack said, his heart feeling heavy. It sounds like you want to pretend those first 10 years never happened. Don't twist my words around, Jack. I'm not saying I'm not grateful. I'm not twisting them. I'm listening to what you're actually saying. You're saying the man who built this place isn't the man you want your new friends to see. Tonight has to be focused, Vanessa insisted. It has to be professional. It has to be elevated. You know exactly what I mean by that. It needs to feel like a high-class experience from the moment they walk in. Elevated. Jack shook his head. You mean you want it to feel fancy and cold. I think I'm starting to understand, Jack continued, his voice full of sadness. The garage was a great start in your mind, a stepping stone, but it can't be the face of our company anymore. And I guess that means I can't be the face of it either, not unless I'm wearing the costume you picked out for me. I never said that, Jack. You're making this much harder than it needs to be. Then say what you really mean. Vanessa, tell me the truth about what you're thinking. I need you to understand the kind of room we are walking into tonight. These are people who have never had a single drop of grease under their fingernails. They don't understand the hard work. They only understand the results. I understand rooms just fine. Vanessa, I know how to look a person in the eye and tell them the truth about a car. I thought that was enough. No, you don't understand the specific room. It's different. It's about how they perceive our value. Jack walked over to the mahogany desk near the window. Show me the paperwork. Vanessa, show me the proposal you're going to give them. We don't have time for this right now, Jack. The guests are going to be here any second. Show me anyway. Jack picked up the thick, heavy folder. On the front, in shining gold letters, it said, Vanessa Miller Luxury Motors. It's just a working name for now, Jack, she said quickly. We had to have something for the printers. It's not final. He turned the page to the section about the leaders of the company. Founder and CEO, Vanessa Miller. He looked at the words for a long time. Where's my name, Vanessa? Where's the partner who started this with you? Investors need to see one clear leader, Jack. It makes the company look more organized and much more stable. It's a very common business strategy. It doesn't change who we are. And what about me? Where do I fit in this stable company you created on paper? Service operations, she said, pointing to a small line near the bottom of the page. It's just business talk, Jack. It means you are the one who makes sure the work gets done. It's a very important role. Business talk for what? Tell me what it really means in plain English. For making sure these wealthy investors take us seriously. They want to see a leader who speaks their language, someone who understands a big picture of the market. And they can't take us seriously with my name where it belongs, right next to yours, just like it's been on every sign we've ever hung up. Your name is still in there, Jack. It's just in the back, in the sections about the technical details and the shop floor. Right where you wanted to stay, Jack said, his voice barely a whisper. In the back, out of the light, where I won't ruin the image. Just then, the heavy glass front door opened with a soft chime. Mr. Howard, thank you so much for coming tonight, Vanessa said, her voice instantly turning sweet, warm, and professional. It is such an honor to have you here. Please call me Vanessa. Vanessa, it's a pleasure, the man said. He was an older gentleman with a kind face and very expensive shoes. He looked over at Jack. And this must be Mr. Miller. I'm Jack Miller, Jack said, stepping forward and extending his hand. From Miller's garage. Yes, sir, Mr. Howard said, shaking Jack's hand firmly. He looked down at the name patch on Jack's old blue shirt. How long has that name been around? Miller's garage. Oh, it's just our old name for the service side of the business. Vanessa interrupted quickly, her smile bright and rehearsed. It's a bit dated now. We are moving into something much more elevated and modern, something that fits the luxury market. I see, Mr. Howard said, his eyes moving back to Jack's face. The showroom is our future, Vanessa continued, her hands moving through the air. The service side is still important, of course, but the brand is growing and changing into a top-tier experience for our clients. And what is Mr. Miller's part in this big change? Mr. Howard asked, looking curious. Jack handles the garage side of things, Vanessa said with a small, tight smile. He makes sure all the technical parts work perfectly. So, he isn't involved in where the brand is going, in the vision for the next 10 years of the company. Jack is truly excellent with cars, Vanessa said, choosing her words very carefully. He has a gift for mechanics. So he's a mechanic then? Mr. Howard asked, his voice very plain. Vanessa hesitated for just a second, her eyes darting to Jack. Yes, she said finally. He is just a mechanic. Just Jack, please, Jack added, feeling a sudden coldness in his chest. That is a very important distinction to make, Mr. Howard said, nodding slowly as if he were thinking about something from a long time ago. I only meant that his strength is on the technical side of the business, Vanessa said, sensing that the mood in the room had shifted. He's a real genius when it comes to engines. Of course, Mr. Howard said. People who invest in luxury usually like a much simpler story about how a company started. They want one face, one voice, and a lot less messy history to have to explain to everyone they know. They want it to look like it happened overnight. That was exactly my thought, Mr. Howard, Vanessa said, feeling a sense of relief. I want to keep the story very clean and easy to understand. Was it your thought, Jack? Mr. Howard asked, turning his attention to the man in the work shirt. Jack didn't say a word. He just looked at Vanessa. So, Jack is not a partner who helped found this in the story you are telling me? Mr. Howard asked Vanessa again. For this next part of our journey, Vanessa said, he is better kept in the operations area. It's where he is most comfortable and where he does his best work. Kept? Mr. Howard asked. That's a very interesting word to use for a person who helped you build all of this. That isn't exactly what I meant to say, Vanessa stammered, her face turning a deep shade of red. And the Miller's Garage name? The name on Jack's chest right now. We can phase it out slowly after the investment money comes in. Vanessa said, trying to get back on track. We want the new name to be the focus of everything we do from now on. Phase it out, Jack whispered, his hand touching the name patch Vanessa had sewn for him so many years ago. Jack, please don't make me choose between what we were and what we could be, Vanessa said, her voice full of a desperate kind of pleading. What we were. Jack asked, finally finding his voice. You mean the people who worked 18 hours a day in a cold shop? You mean the honesty and the sweat that built our reputation in this town? You know what I mean, she said, her eyes wet with tears. No, I think I know what you've forgotten, Vanessa. You chose this uniform for me. You were the one who sat at our small kitchen table and stitched this name patch on the very day we opened our first little shop. You were so proud of us that day. That was so many years ago, Jack. We were just kids with a big dream. Things change. You told me that every real shop needed a real uniform. You weren't ashamed of it when it was all we had to our name. You weren't ashamed of the grease on my hands when it paid the bills and bought our first house. That was a different time in our lives, she said, looking away from him. No, Vanessa, that was us. That was the real heart of everything we did together. Mr. Howard, please, I can explain everything, Vanessa said, turning back to the older man. This is just a small disagreement about our marketing strategy. You already did explain, Vanessa, Mr. Howard said, his voice calm but very firm. Excuse me, she asked, confused. You had a real chance tonight to tell me who this man was. You had a chance to tell me about the heart and soul of this place. But you chose to make him look smaller than he is. You tried to hide your history because you thought it wasn't fancy enough. That is not what happened at all. Vanessa cried out. It is exactly what happened. Mr. Miller, you don't remember me, do you? Should I? Jack asked, searching the man's kind face. Many years ago, you stayed way past midnight to fix an old, rusty blue Cadillac for me. My wife had passed away only 2 months before I brought it to you. You told me the car still smelled like her favorite rose perfume, and you made sure it stayed that way. You didn't laugh at me for crying in your shop. You didn't charge me extra because I was sad and desperate. You just worked quietly. It was just a car, sir, Jack said. No, Jack. It was the very last place where I still felt close to her. You fixed it before the sun came up, and you didn't even ask for a thank you. You didn't know who I was back then. You didn't ask what I could do for you. You just did the work because it was the right thing to do. You showed me your heart, Jack. You showed me who you are. Mr. Howard, Jack has always been so important to us, Vanessa said, her voice shaking. To the company? Jack asked. Just a minute ago, I was better kept away in the back. I was just a mechanic who didn't fit the brand. I was only trying to make sure we got the investment, Jack. I did it for our future. Vanessa cried. No, Jack said. You were trying to build a future where my greasy hands didn't show. You were trying to hide the man you used to be proud of. I have seen plenty of shiny, polished stories before, Mr. Howard said. They don't tell me a thing about a person's character. But Miller's Garage told me everything I needed to know about trust and kindness. Please, we can change the proposal right now, Vanessa said, her tears falling freely. I won't be putting any money into Vanessa Miller Luxury Motors, Mr. Howard said. But I will gladly invest in Miller's garage if Jack Miller decides he wants to keep building it with the same heart he had all those years ago. Jack, the business can keep your name, Vanessa said softly, looking at him with regret. Yes, but I don't know if I can keep pretending that you are actually proud of it. I can fix engines, Vanessa. I can make an old car run like new. But I can't fix someone who is ashamed of the long, hard road that brought her here. I can't fix a heart that has lost its way. Jack, please don't leave me. Don't ask me to build a business that is ashamed of its own heart and soul. If you think I was right to keep my old uniform instead of that fancy suit, let me know by showing your support for these stories. If not, tell me why in the notes below today. I want to know what you think truly matters in this life.